Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Kool Kids Klan Fury. We're coming at you live here tonight from Des Moines, Iowa. We are only 2 short weeks away until our biggest show of the year, WrestleMania, coming at you live from Hollywood, California. But tonight, while we're here in Des Moines, Iowa, we've got a hell of a show taking place here tonight. We've got quarterfinal matchups, of course, of the World Tag League to see which competitors on the women's division will be at MANIA in that final. But of course, we know that Karen Chungus has a lot to speak about in terms of the events that happened last week when she attacked Emma backstage. Let's see what this is all about. Karen Chungus tonight. No sympathy whatsoever to Emma. I'm not waiting out any longer. It's time I do something I should have done a long time ago. I'm calling you out. Sickle? What the fuck? What? I thought she was gonna call out Emma. What the hell? Wait a second. What? Do you think maybe she has something to do with this? Because I don't know. What? I'd expected that she was gonna call out Emma, and it doesn't seem like it's the case. But Sickle, I guess, I don't know whose side she's gonna take on here. Maybe she'll defend Emma. Maybe she'll, I guess, align herself with Karen Chungus. What? I don't know what's going on anymore. I believe she's out here to pretty much just talk some sense into Karen, letting her know you don't just beat people up around here. If anything, I'm gonna do the same to you. What could she possibly have in mind? You dare call me out to this ring, you better have something very impressive to say. Otherwise, I'm gonna smack you to the mat so hard, you'll regret asking me out here. Seems like she's stepping up and defending Emma. One thing we both have in common is that we think for ourselves, right? We're not followers. We're not lackeys. Thing is, though, around here, you can't get much done on your own. That's why I propose me and you start a revolution. Apart, all we can do is protest. Together, we can turn everything on its ear. What do you say? Interesting rebuttal here. Is she gonna accept it, though? I gotta say, you got a lot of guts coming out here saying what you just said, especially since you know how much I don't like you. I kind of respect that, though. I'm sure it will shock the hell out of you when I answer your question like this. Yes, I will be your partner. Oh my goodness gracious. She is willing to just throw away Emma like that to align herself with Karen Chungus. We're 2 women who are both born to rule, but why rule alone when you can share the wealth? I'm offering to share the wealth with you. Are you in or are you not in? With this all said, I strongly encourage you not to turn on me like you did with Emma before. I don't like being double-crossed, and for some reason it didn't let me read the rest of it. But Karen Chungus offering Sickle, I guess, the opportunity of a lifetime to join her. And it seems like Sickle, I mean, she's kind of questioning herself a little bit, but she accepted it. Maybe didn't really accept it at 100%, but she likes the offer that Karen Chungus gave her. And I'm honestly intrigued to see what really develops from this. Here we go, though. Coming up next, we've got the quarterfinal matchup of the World Tag League. It is Team Avatar's Toph and Kotaro, who the only reason they're even in the quarterfinals is because Karen Chungus basically gave them that first round bye, as they are set to take on the former women's tag team champions Mio Honda and Sailor Moon, who is heading to the semifinals to take on the forces of greatness next week. Let's find out. Here we go. Let's get this first matchup underway, as here comes Team Avatar. And for some reason they're entering by themselves. I'm skipping the entrances because I don't feel like watching them today. Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's great. That's cool. That's great. We don't care. Everyone gets the jobber entrances tonight. Sorry about that. We're all under a tight schedule. But what is not under a tight schedule is the match length. We're giving y'all enough time to basically go at it in the ring compared to the time y'all are wasting getting out here. But of course, bell rings, match is underway. Immediately, Toph is going for that suplex, though. onto Mio Honda. And of course, still to come later tonight, we've got the other matchup in the quarterfinals, which will be the Incredibles, Elastigirl and Violet, who made a pretty, I guess, what's it called? A pretty surprising, I guess a pretty impressive debut a couple of weeks ago when they made it past their first round matchup, and they're set to take on the former women's tag team champions in the Ignited Dogs. And then of course we know Karen Chungus is going to be in action tonight when she takes on Band Life. And then our main event, of course, Women's World Champion Reign set to take on the former Women's World Champion Hatsune Miku. Of course, those two ended up recently facing each other in that Revolt 100 episode, but tonight it seems like they're going to go at it one more time before WrestleMania, before Reign is set to defend her title against Undyne. Meanwhile, Mio Honda kick to the gut though, onto Katara. Over a suplex here it seems, and she planted her on the mat nicely. We're going to drag her across the ring here, it seems. Now Mio Honda thinking about something else here, but instead makes the tag to Sailor Moon, and now she's in this match. Gotta go for a kick. Instead, collar and elbow tie up between Katara and Sailor Moon. Of course, Team Avatar, they headed into that first round matchup. They, I guess Sailor Moon and Mio Honda pretty much ridiculed them, saying that you really shouldn't even be in this quarterfinal matchup, considering the way that you guys ended up getting to past that first round was at the hands of Karen Chungus, basically giving them that victory. Kick to the gut though by Katara. And if anything, Team Avatar are going to use that ridicule and use that judgment to their best ability to motivate them. Kind of walking steps around the ring here makes the tag to Toph and Shiza this matchup now. Sailor Moon reversing here. The jawbreaker onto Toph. Instead, Toph managed to reverse out of it. For a drop toe hold, though, onto the former champ. Of course, I believe the Sailor Idols they had plans to head to Mania. Of course, they were all squandered, and now pretty much the only way for them to head over there is to win this tournament. Head to the finals to meet Ryuko and Satsuki in the second night of WrestleMania for the women's tag team belts. Sailor Moon, though, nice arm drag here, takes down Toph, and she gets the headbutt onto her. Sailor Moon now walking into the corner and now makes the tag to Mio Honda. Just perfect precision tags from these two teams. These are two pretty well-established teams up to this point. Toph and Katara, on the other hand, they are a team who haven't really had much success, but this tournament is a perfect opportunity for them to showcase what they have, but Mio Honda is definitely not going down without a fight. She immediately kicked herself back up to her feet. Now trying to crank the neck once again onto Toph. Trying to break it as best as possible. Getting her up to her feet now. Toph is in trouble. Gets the punch into the face, and now Mio Honda setting up for that move there as she plants Toph on the mat. And Mio Honda, though, this can only mean one thing. And she is setting up for that finisher. Spikes Toph head first onto the mat. And if anything, Katara is going to try to break the pinfall here. Can she do it, though? And a kick out, though, by Toph. Katara, even if she would have, this breakup would have counted regardless. But right now you see Toph wearing down the arm of Mio Honda, trying to make her tap out, but instead she's realized what's happening. Forearm there by Toph. Mio Honda counters into a kick. There's the winner of these two teams heads to face Nikita Lyons and Nia Jax next week in the semifinals. And if you are the forces of greatness in this instance, you're a team that doesn't really get along very well, but they only care about just inflicting damage onto their opponents. And right now these two teams going at it as Katara makes the tag in. And for that move there, great double team work though by Team Avatar. You see Mio Honda trying to crawl her way to tag herself in, but it was unsuccessful. Kick to the gut though. Katara went for the attack there. Now continuously picking at the legs of Mio Honda. going at it once again, though, making sure that she's trying to stay down as much as possible. A forearm there by Katara. Another forearm, and now just going for those chop combinations onto Mio Honda as she planted her on the mat. Cover. Is this it? Can Sailor Moon make the save for her team? It doesn't seem like it's the case, but instead Mio Honda broke up in time still. Drop kick though. Mio Honda still up to her feet. And for the spike DDT onto Katara. If anything, Mio Honda has just gotten more motivated the longer she goes into this thing. Comeback sequence, and this time she planted it. Mio Honda all sorts of fired up, with bundle of energy when she's out there, and she only cares about just beating up her opponents like she is to Katara here. Sailor Moon watches along as her partner can put it away here, but instead Katara counters into a nice drop kick. Great precision by these two teams. Perfect chemistry, it seems. Kick to the leg and then into the head onto Mio Honda. But Katara realizes that if she tries to go for a pin there, it's literally right next to her partner. She could break it up easily. Katara tried to go for a forearm, but instead missed it by a mile. Throws Mio Honda to the outside. Katara, what's she thinking of here? Maybe going for a baseball slide, though, onto Mio Honda. Both of these teams have got to be careful. If this thing ends in a double countout, that semifinal match would be turned into a triple threat. There we go. Irish Whips are back in the corner. But of course, speaking of the World Tag League, we do know that Emma is not clear to compete at the moment, though, which means that her and Sickle pretty much have to forfeit their spot in the semifinal, which means that Meili and Josie Jane automatically qualify. And it's a bummer to hear that, but you know, the tournament must go on. And Katara, though, setting her up as she also tries to head to the semifinal. Sailor Moon is knocked out. Mio Honda can't make the save. Katara kick out, though, by Moon. She thought that would have been it, but instead now she's going to let Toph take a bit of offense. Kick to the gut. And now Toph setting up for something here, but instead Sailor Moon is still fighting back with everything in her power. Irish whips her in the corner. Toph counters with the kick. Here we go, Irish whip once again. Has got her stunned over there. Using that turnbuckle as Toph once again plants her on the mat. And now you see Toph getting closer into the corner, which can only mean one thing, as Toph sets up. Oh, I was going to say she's going to set up for the Bing Shaling kick, but it doesn't seem like that happened. Instead, it just seemed like Sailor Moon did that on her own. Okay, she tried to knock out Mio Honda just to make sure she doesn't try to break anything up, but that completely backfired. And because of it, Sailor Moon now realizes the opportunity that's in front of her, and she's going to capitalize. Irish whips Toph into the corner. Not Irish whip, but Toph. She's thinking of here. She's heading to the top rope. Sailor Moon can only do so much, but to take damage to the chest there. You see her. You see Mio Honda trying to crawl her way over there. Not crawl, but trying to get tagged in. But Toph, on the other hand, she's going to take Sailor Moon for a swing right now. Toph just giving her a ride here. Sailor Moon, and anything, it's doing more damage to Toph than it is to Sailor Moon. And now, because of that, she is able to put her away into a submission hold. Gets her dizzy enough to where she can eventually pass out. And now Toph with the crossface. Can she put away Sailor Moon? And she has no other choice but to tap out. Team Avatar head to the semifinals. Big victory for them here tonight, but they've got an even bigger challenge awaiting them next week. See, just perfect double team by these two. As Mio Honda and Sailor Moon head to the back of the locker room. Their spotlight in the tournament is done, which means that Toph and Katara, they are only one victory away to head to WrestleMania. And if there is a team that stands in their way, it is Nia Jax and Nikita Lyons. And coming up next, though, I mean, it seemed like Karen Chungus was supposed to take place in this matchup to take on Band Life, but instead it seems like Sickle stepped up to the plate and took her position. As tonight, I guess we're going to get Sickle versus Band here on Fury. Up next. Here we go. WrestleMania in just 2 short weeks. What the fuck is this? They're coming out here with no music. Are you kidding me? Okay, I guess. Oh, wait a second. It seems like Emma is not injured, but instead she's going right after Sickle here. Doesn't seem like she's going for Karen Chungus. Maybe her focus isn't on her. And oh my god, though. Seems like Emma felt betrayed in a sense. Felt like she could trust Sickle, but instead it was her using Emma all along, or maybe she was frustrated just by the fact that Emma is the one that gets all the spotlight, the one that gets all the admiration from the crowd. And now Sickle, I guess, aligning herself with Karen Chungus out of all people. And now she's just giving a beating to Emma right now. But instead it seems, nope, I guess not. Letting Emma know that you should not trust your friends too closely. And Sickle just continuing to remain on the onslaught of beating up Emma. Karen Chungus just watching along as Emma, I guess, now is just on the offense here. To think these two were supposed to be in the semifinals, but now this team's pretty much just descended. Emma's not even supposed to be out here right now. She's not even medically cleared. And that's exactly why Sickle is just beating the ever-loving crap out of her. I cannot believe what we witnessed. And coming up next, though, it is our last quarter-final matchup, as it is Elastigirl and Violet from The Incredibles set to take on the former women's tag team champions in Ignition and Martha Speaks. Of course, we know that the winner of these two were supposed to face Emma and Sickle in the semifinals, but that's not happening anymore, as Maylee and Josie Jane got the automatic bye for it. But let's see who's going to take them on next week. Here we go, and let's see who's going to wrap up this quarterfinal matchup. And this team, on the other hand, despite them being the newest arrivals, they have definitely made a lasting first impression during that first round. And of course, Elastigirl and Violet. Can you imagine if this rookie team head to the finals of the World Tag League? It would definitely be a huge opportunity for them. But now they are taking on former women's tag team champions, and the competition will only get more intense as this tournament goes on. Elastigirl, Violet had a hell of a showing in that first round matchup that they went through. And tonight, it is going to be no easy challenge, as it is time to light and ignite with Ignition and Martha Speaks. The Ignited Dogs looking to head to the semifinals.
And their opponents, Bishop and Martha the Dog.
And I'm just going to skip this entrance too, because I just wanted to watch the Incredibles one. Here we go, referee Jamal rings the bell. Match is underway. I'm sorry, I kind of messed up my language there for a split second. And right now it seems like Ignition is trying to put it this way early onto Elastigirl, though. And right now, just kind of wearing her down as much as possible, letting them know it's like, yeah, you guys are new here, but you're not going to compare to us. Irish whips her into the ropes, though, but instead Elastigirl using that athleticism to her advantage. Could you imagine, though, if they did end up winning the tournament? It'd be a huge, huge victory for them, especially when there are newcomers around here. So Elastigirl makes the tag, but even though they are a new team in this sense, they are no strangers to one another. They've spent a majority of their lives pretty much just as a tag team, especially with mother and daughter, I guess. This is completely not new from their playbook. Tries to go for the double knees there, but instead Ignition countering, letting them know that the competition gets fiercer in this instance. And Elastigirl elbows to the gut here on Ignition. Irish whips her into the red corner and now going for another monkey flip onto her opponent. As you see, Martha Speaks desperate for the tag, but she can't get it just yet. So goes into the corner, and instead it seems like Ignition countered. Irish whips her instead into her own. As Martha Speaks maybe thinking about getting tagged here. Instead it seems like Ignition is just going to stare along as this is happening. Here we go, makes the tag to Martha Speaks though. And now Ignited Dogs showing exactly why they were the former women's tag team champions. But if there's anything that someone's going to say about it, it's going to be Elastigirl. With nothing more than to have tag team title gold, much like everyone in this tournament. But only one of them so far has held the tag team titles in the past. But that's if the Ignited Dogs can't even make it to the semifinals. And in order to do so, they have to defeat the Incredibles. Makes the tag to Violet, and now she's in this match. Pick to the arm here. Instead, Martha Speaks. Irish whips her to the corner, running at her at full speed, but instead Violet manages to escape it. Hurricanrana, though, impressive one at that. Ignition trying to get the tag in, but it's just Martha Speaks is all the way over there. There's no way in Jesus Christ that she's going to be able to tag her in from over there. Unless she goes for a really long, a really long tag. And Martha Speaks doing what she does best, going for dissecting the arms here, trying to make Violet tap out in this matchup. Could you imagine if this is how their tournament ended? But instead, Violet's still fighting. She's not going to give up just yet, if at all. Here we go this time, though. Ignition tags herself into the matchup. I mean, what a stacked card we pretty much have for WrestleMania. We learned last night that Roy is set to defend against Cole Quinn, and then you got the six-man battle, the six-man ladder match for the hardcore title between Jay Pierce, Chad, even X-Flow, Adam Needs a Username, Colt the Bull, and Dutch Crusader. And then, of course, the change in the matchup of the main event for Night 2 is now a triple threat between Mobzilla, Jive Owens, and the Apple. That is sure to be a hell of a matchup. And now Ignition, Irish whips her into the corner. Meanwhile, on the other hand, these two teams are also trying to carve their way to WrestleMania. And in order to do so, they've got to make it to the finals if they even want an opportunity to head there. And drops her, though, onto her back. And you see Violet trying to crawl her way to her tag team partner, but she's still too far away to really do anything. Instead, she's going to run at her, go for another monkey flip. These two just perfectly synchronized with one another. Instead, going for a neck breaker there, it seems, onto Martha Speaks. Almost on the same wavelength that both of these competitors are in here. Martha Speaks pushes away Violet. Throws her instead back into that corner. Makes the tag to Ignition. More double team precision by the former women's tag team champions. There we go. Headlock, though, by Ignition. Taking her time, though, and instead it seems like she broke it up because she spent too much time monologuing from it, but instead she goes for a suplex there. Into the knee drop. Into the face, of course. Another one, though, for good measure. And if you're Violet right now, you gotta start to realize that you can't slack off for too much of this matchup. Make or break this instance. They've got to bring that aggression that they had a couple of weeks ago during the first round matchup of the tournament, as you see Ignition just going for the multiple kicks onto Violet and wears her down on the mat. And now Violet making the crawl to her mother, and now Elastigirl is in this fight. Elastigirl and Ignition slugging it out here, but Ignition slapped her wrist away. Goes for that forearm, though, onto her. She gets her up to her feet, and now Elastigirl continuing to stay on the attack. Going for the punch here, but instead it seemed like she countered. Reversal here by Elastigirl. Once again, Violet stunned in the corner over there. There's not really much she can do. But what Elastigirl can do right now is just carry this thing. Irish whips her into the corner once again. Now trying to go for a monkey flip here onto Ignition. And now she is heading to the top rope. This can only mean one thing, as she is looking to put this thing away into a frog splash from the heavens, it seems. Literally flew like a superhero. Going for the cover though, as Martha Speaks breaks it up in time though for her team. And if anything, Violet's trying to go after Martha Speaks, but Martha Speaks letting her know that you're not going to get rid of me that easily. Elastigirl thought she put her away there, but instead it seems like Ignition is still continuing to stay in this fight. Irish whips her once again into another forearm. And Ignition setting her up, maybe for that crossface it seems, and now Elastigirl unable to escape it this time around. Their dreams of heading to the finals of the tournament may be done and over with right now. Ignition has got it synced in deep. Elastigirl, is she going to tap out? She's not giving up just yet. What valiant effort she is bringing to this fight. Elastigirl refusing to quit here in this matchup. Once again though, but instead Ignition is going to continue going for the arm. And as Ignition is trying to taunt, you see Violet trying to get the hot tag. But she's still, Elastigirl's still unable to get over there. As Ignition gets those multiple drop kicks. Gets her up to her feet. And now Ignition setting up for a German suplex, but instead nice reversal there by Elastigirl. Spinning back kick. Irish whips her into the corner, maybe making the tag to her partner, and she does. And now the Incredibles back on the attack. Hurricanrana into the power bomb. Great precision at that. And now Violet is setting her up for failure, it seems. Going for the Hurricanrana into the DDT. Spiked her head first. Cover. Is this it? Are the Incredibles heading to the semifinals? Oh my goodness gracious. Martha Speaks couldn't break it up in time. What a performance though. What a route in the tournament that they're taking. And for some reason they're playing Ignition's music even though she's the one that lost. And Martha Speaks, I can understand why these two are frustrated from this. Bit of dissension. They thought that they had this thing in the bag. Wait a second. Whoa. Martha Speaks said, I don't want to hear any of it. Letting her know that, we ended up losing. You're not heading to WrestleMania, I guess. But goodness gracious, though. Congrats to the Incredibles as they are set to meet Josie Jane and Maylee Fanny Fan in the semis next week. Here we go. Coming up next, it is our main event as we have, I guess, a rematch from the Revolt 100 episode, but in a non-title bout, as Hatsune Miku is set to go one-on-one with the Women's World Champion reign, as we know that she's going to have a busy schedule for WrestleMania Night 1 when she main events against the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, Undyne. This is sure to be a hell of a matchup, and let's see how this one's going to turn out. It's Hatsune Miku and Reign up next. And here we go. It's main event time here on Fury. And here comes the former three-time Women's World Champion, who just recently lost the title, though, a couple of weeks ago on Revolt 100.
Making her way to the ring from Tokyo, Japan, Mean.
And of course, I'm skipping this entrance because I do not care. And of course, there is one woman that ended up shattering her WrestleMania dream, and that is the Women's World Champ.
And her opponent from San Antonio, Texas, the Women's World Champion,
And I will also skip this entrance because I do not care. But what we do care about is this huge main event. Set, the bell rings, the match is underway, and of course, if you're Undyne right now, you're going to watch this matchup very closely. Of course, we know that this will not affect the outcome, though, of WrestleMania, but instead it seems like Hatsune Miku wants a bit of, I guess, some closure, but instead it seems like Undyne is here for a front row seat. And now women's world champion awaiting the arrival of Undyne. But little did she know that she's right behind her as Undyne, planting her here. And now the champ is down as Undyne planted her onto the mat, looking to help Hatsune Miku and looking to humiliate her. I guess not instant karma, but karma in the sense from last week when Rain interfered in Undyne's matchup against Mavis in a kick out though by the champ. It would definitely stunt her credibility, not credibility, but I guess it would stunt her motivation if she lost here tonight to Hatsune Miku. She's got to be careful on that end. It's Hatsune Miku, she knows that she doesn't really have anything to lose in this instance. If anything, she's going to take out that frustration of not being at WrestleMania though onto Rain. And of course, we did hear that the WrestleMania Battle Royale will take place on Revolt, and we also know that it will be happening on the women's side next week as well, where the winner is set to take on the Knockouts champion, the Fury after WrestleMania. And right now you see the champ just trying to wear down her opponent as much as possible. Gets those stomp of the chest and into the arm as Rain now just using all of her frustration onto Hatsune Miku, has been ridiculed throughout the past couple of weeks, where people have told her that you shouldn't even be in the Mania main event, that you pretty much were just given the opportunity and did not earn it, lost at the Royal Rumble, and basically felt entitled to get a rematch. And Hatsune Miku trying to prove to everyone here that she should be the women's world champion right now. If anything, she's pissed off, but it's a kick out by Rain though. Instead, rolling to the outside here as Undyne interfered earlier in this matchup though. Nice move there by Hatsune Miku. Cover though. Is this it? To put her away though, and a kick out. Only got one shoulder up. Maybe it seems like it still put her away for good here, and a double knee to the face. Hatsune Miku defeating Rain out here tonight would definitely mean that Undyne has gotten to her head, that she would need to focus on the task at hand that's in 2 weeks, and that is, I guess, retaining her women's world title. But this is Undyne we're talking about. This is a woman who just feels like she's been neglected of that opportunity for so long. Feels like for a long time, I guess, she's just been put in the sidelines. A lot of people have underestimated her. A lot of people feel like, or she basically feels like there's been a lot of competitors who've had that title, and for her, it's like, I guess it would mean in a sense of feeling like she is not important enough to be on that list. It feels like she's left out. It feels like she's not a big of a star that a lot of people believe that she is, and in order to prove that, she would need to be the champ. Kick by Rain though. And instead, Hatsune Miku going one for her own, and now going for that submission hold here as she's trying to make the women's world champion tap out right now. Has Undyne got into her head, and it looks like Rain doesn't want to put too much of a fight up here in this matchup. Either two routes could have happened here. One is that Hatsune Miku pretty much just defeated her fair and square, and two, Undyne is the biggest worry of her right now, and so she pretty much just kind of let Hatsune Miku get a win. Saw Undyne interfere earlier in the night, went for the attack there onto Rain, and because of it, helped Hatsune Miku get, I guess, the final laugh in this matchup, and finally putting away Rain for good, despite her not being the champion. But that doesn't really matter for her right now though. All that she cares about is that she has that closure against the champ. As Rain set on the bigger task at hand of Mania, while Hatsune Miku gets her revenge with making her submit. And of course, we thank you for joining us, everybody, as we've got next week's Fury is the Fury before WrestleMania. That is going to be a huge show. We do know that it will be the two semi-final matchups with the Forces of Greatness taking on Team Avatar And then, of course, Maylee and Josie Jane taking on the Incredibles. But we also know of the Women's Battle Royale taking place, where the winner challenges the Knockouts champion the Fury after WrestleMania. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and have a good one.